I'd like to call to order tonight's regular meeting of the Board of Education, CUSD 201, October 13th, 2015. And roll call, please.
Ms. Ambrose.
Here.
Mr. Armstrong. Mrs. Charlton.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mrs. Knopbush. Mr. Price.
Here.
Ms. Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, Cubs win, in case you didn't see that. Approval of minutes. Oh, yeah, we have to assign a secretary pro tem. Would anyone like to be the secretary pro tem
Oh,
for the evening?
I'll volunteer.
Okay.
Well, actually, you say I when they take it.
So, like a motion to name Joel Price as the secretary pro tem of tonight's meeting? When you said, say so moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Joel, you have two hats tonight. All right, approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the September 22nd, 2015 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the September 22nd, 2015 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, are there any public comments? Then we'll move to the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Number 1, personnel recommendation, employment of licensed staff. Eleanor Fiala, Manning School, long-term substitute kindergarten teacher. Zachary Troyer, South School, .1 FTE vocal music teacher. Brent Erlab, South School, .1 FTE vocal music teacher. And then stipend positions, Sabrina Reinman, Westmont Junior High School athletic director. Eric Andrews, Westmont Junior High School junior varsity and varsity basketball coach. John Sacco, Westmont Junior High School wrestling coach. Joseph Hilton, Westmont High School head wrestling coach. Dennis Cox Jr., Westmont High School assistant wrestling coach. Cassie Erlab, Westmont High School assistant director for the fall play. And then number 2, approval of student tour requests. Roll call, please.
Need a motion first.
Oh, sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Now, if we can have a roll call.
Ms. Ambrose.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, presentation of monthly financial statements. Mrs. Anderson?
The August 2015 financial statements are attached for your review. During the month of August, we received just a little over $59,000 from the state, and this was basically our general state aid payment. At that point in time, no FY16 payments had been vouchered, and we did receive another small installment of the 2014 tax levy in the amount of $333,000. To date, we've collected $11.8 million, which is a 52.78% collection rate, and it's just slightly higher than the prior 2 years. Other than that, revenues in all of the funds are about where they need to be at this time of the year. And again, expenditures in the ed fund comparable to the prior year average. In the O&M fund, we're 24.51% spent to date. We were 11.94% spent to date last year at this time. But again, we decided to do more projects this year out of that fund, so, and did those over the summer. And fund balances and investments are attached. Does anybody have questions? There's nothing really exciting in the month of August.
No.
And later, we have excitement.
Once the weather changes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the next item is the discussion about the different types of construction manager contracts.
Yes, I just wanted to update the board. We're putting together an RFP for a construction manager, which we had talked about earlier, that's something that we would be doing, given the size of the project, the scope, some of the complexity, especially at the high school, and then that the project's gonna go overlap for, basically 2 years and 2 summers. So, had discussions with our attorney, and there's 3 types of construction manager. You can do a construction manager as advisor and hire a general contractor. You can have a construction manager at risk, or you can have the construction manager with a guaranteed maximum price. And we're going to do our RFP for the construction manager at risk. It's the best option. The CM as advisor with the general contractor, they act as a liaison, but that general contractor doesn't report into that construction manager. So they don't really, we still wind up having to do a lot of the monitoring in that case, and we don't have the personnel to be able to do that. And then the CM with the guaranteed maximum price, although they say it's guaranteed maximum, it's not an absolute guaranteed maximum, and they typically do increase their fee to cover for any changes. So the at-risk model is the way we're gonna go, and they administer the contracts for us. We assign those to the construction manager. We don't have to manage them, and they work in our best interest, but we do keep an eye on what they're doing. So I just wanted to let you know that's what we're doing, and so we'll be going out for RFP on that, and then be following up with you when we have those results.
And did our attorneys think that that was the
Yes,
best for our district?
that was their
Okay.
recommendation.
Okay, good. I appreciate you telling us the different
Yeah.
options, so,
Mhm.
okay. All right. Then the next item for discussion is student learning commitment at Westmont Junior High School, and we'll have an update on that from Mr. Jonak.
So number one, thanks for having me come out. I get to talk about 2 different things that I love, Westmont Junior High School and also service. So what I would like to just kind of recap is I want to say thank you to the Board of Education, because in June you had passed the student service learning commitment. And so today I wanted to share a little bit about where information is located for our parents, for yourselves as well, because communication is extremely important, and I think we know that. There are 3 different locations that our parents can go to, and our students for that matter, that they can go to based on our website. And so that's under the Parent Resources tab, also the Student Resources tab, and then if you scroll down on our main website, there we go. It's as simple as this. It's right here under New Student Service Learning Commitment, SSLC, at Westmont Junior High School. So I'm just going to click on that. It all brings you to the same location, which is right here. And to get updated information, we just follow the links. And so on this website, it will lead you to the program description. And if you click on that, if an individual clicks on that, they'll see the description of the entire student service learning commitment. So they can take a look, they can see that for 6th grade, it's 9 hours of service. For 7th grade, 12 hours. For 8th grade, 15 hours. And we end up, for 6th and 7th grade, we end up taking a look at all of their hours at the end or at the middle of May. For 8th grade, because it is a graduation requirement, and I do want to state that it is a graduation requirement, that in the middle of March, we take a look at those hours and we make sure they're good to go. And that way it gives us a little bit of a cushion with those 8th graders that need a little bit of extra nudging. We want to make sure that all of our students graduate, but that they also take the advantage of this great opportunity to do service for our community, whether that's local or more of a global mission. So in here, there's a lot of questions that are, or a lot of things that are stated in this description, and you can see that there's quite a bit of information there, but you could go even deeper into it, Because since this is the first year that Westmont Junior High School has had the SSLC, we're finding some things up along the way. And so there's people that are asking some great questions. Also, you can get the activity log sheets here. So if a young man or young lady left their sheet at school, or they left it somewhere else in the car, or something along those lines, that they could print it out right here as well. So it's located online. And then they can just bring that one to school and attach that to the one that they have in their STAR or resource folder. Underneath that is the Student Service Learning Commitment List. This is a growing list. These are just relationships that we have started to form, which we've already got some great relationships with Westmont Public Library, Ronald McDonald House near Central DuPage Hospital, Feed My Starving Children. And I'm going to stop here at Feed My Starving Children because we're going to be utilizing 3 different SIP days. We had our walkathon with the first SIP day. We have 3 others. So in December for our SIP day, the 7th grade is going to be going to Feed My Starving Children. The 8th grade is going to during our February SIP day, and in April our 6th grade is going to be going. And so that's going to be the entire class along with the teachers. And by the way, Board of Education peoples, we could definitely use some extra chaperones. So if you'd like to go, please let me know. Take a look at our SIP days, and we'd love to have you. Mr. Carey, Ms. Anderson, if your schedule allows. Rima, I know you're too busy. But then if you see that we're going to be spending 2 hours there, so the students will have 2 hours banked just in that. And additionally, we just had our walkathon, and that was our big PTO. I think you were there, Mr. Alton. That was our big PTO kickoff, our fundraising, because we don't sell chocolates or magazines for our big fundraiser. Really what occurs is we have this walkathon around Ty Warner Park, and it was fantastic. We earned quite a bit of funds, and kids had a great time along the way, so they all earned 1 hour. So automatically, every student that was part of the walkathon and Feed My Starving Children that day that we go and SIP, that's 3 hours. So we try to understand that our students are busy and our parents are busy as well. And this gives an opportunity inside the school day to fill some of these service requirements. So as we scroll down, we are going to be, we've already have gotten a chance to go to the PRC, the People's Resource Center. What they have there is just absolutely amazing, just the assets that are there. But we're working with having our students go to the PRC also. We've just got to kind of work out the numbers a little bit. So there's the PRC, which our Early Act, Ms. Cozen's here, our Early Act sponsor. She's worked with them for years before the SSLC was ever in existence. So we have the Park District. Steve G., the superintendent over at the Park District, has been working with us. As a matter of fact, you go onto our Facebook site and you can see some just really kind words that he said about our volunteers that are working hard for the entire community. If there's a student out there that is not as much of a people person, okay, because I know some adults that are like that, then they can volunteer at a park reserve as well. So we have the Forest Preserve for DuPage County. That there's a link that brings you to a volunteer site. We've got working with the DuPage Senior Citizens. Chore Days is coming up. The County of DuPage, we have volunteer opportunities there. There's a whole list of them that's located on that website. And then Operation Gratitude as well. As people tell me, so we have many adults that volunteer in many different ways. You're doing it right now. And so they'll let me know if there's some sort of charitable event that's going on. As long as it's non-for-profit, we will place that, and as long as we have the appropriate supervision that's there, we'll place that on our website as well. That's another option. What we're finding is that a lot of parents are accompanying students to go, and that they're serving together, which we absolutely love. Manning and Miller School have contacted us as well. I believe some just went to an ice cream social event, and so those students got credit for that. So you can see that there's many different opportunities, and as those opportunities keep coming up, we change the website and make sure it reflects. So next you can see that we have frequently asked questions that the students or the parents or community members are asking us. If it's not something that's laid out really well in the description of the SSLC that's located at the top of the webpage, then you can see that I start addressing some of those things in here. And so the black are questions and the blue are the answers that we're giving. And so yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about the program. What I can tell you easily, this is just a bare bones estimate, but easily we have over 600 hours that have been put together by our students thus far. And that's just the start of it. I mean, that's just the start of it. We're very eager to come back in the spring and to share the total numbers of the hours that are connected to service. So there's another thing that's going on that's not necessarily on this, and that is our connection. One of our E-period classes, which you've heard quite a bit about over the last couple of years, has a tie with a coffee shop that's in Burma. And so you can go to our website, you'll hear more about that. We're going to have a coffee shop that is located at Westmont Junior High School. It's called Sprouting Seeds Junior because the real one in Burma is called Sprouting Seeds, and it's been created by a bunch of students and or a bunch of kids and their foster father. And so all of the funds that we are getting from our coffee shop, which will be open during parent-teacher conferences, will be going towards that coffee shop in Burma. And you'll be seeing more and more about that as we post that to our website and then also to Facebook. So we're just very excited, and things are popping up left and right. And so yeah, I just wanted to open it up for any kind of questions that you may have.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. I'm glad to see such a wide range of places and suggestions, because I think parents sometimes feel like, oh, what are we going to do?
Absolutely.
And so a lot of nice options there, and of course, incorporating it into the school day, to knock off a few hours for kids, it will help get them jump-started into the program as well. So I really like this program a lot. I think it's beneficial on so many levels for the student, for the community, and globally, just raising awareness of all the opportunities and opportunities to serve that exist in our community and beyond. So I'm really pleased with it, and glad
Thank you, Mr. Price.
able to put it together.
There's you just made me think, remind myself of something else. #lunchbag is another that we're doing through our student leadership team, and so we'll have different opportunities throughout this year that it'll be 3:30 to 5:30 that we'll be making lunch bags for those that are in need. So that's something that's coming up. We do have organizations like Student Leadership Team, Early Act, Student Council, the Outdoor Environmental Science Club, and all of these clubs that are already a part of Westmont Junior High School, they will have service opportunities as well. They already have many of them. So there are ways for our students to serve directly after school or even before school hours. So our buses tend to get there right around 7:40 without the snow and the rain. And so some of these clubs are meeting before school starts. And then many of them, we're fortunate to have a 5:15 bus that leaves. And so many students that perhaps don't have the transportation of mom and dad to take them back and forth, they can be taking the 5:15 bus home and already do service. They've gotten a chance to go over to the high school. Thank you, Hector. They got a chance to go over to the high school and to work in the garden. We have some great pictures on our website of that too. Sorry, didn't mean to get so long-winded, but there's a few things I left out.
Great.
Well, I also have to say thank you. I love this. I love to hear. I think there's two things. Well, there's a lot of very good things. I did read what Steve G. wrote about our students, and I think that's fantastic. And I know he's got a lot of opportunities for the junior high kids to work at various functions. So I think that's fantastic. It's another way to have the student, the schools, and the community kind of work together on things that are needed in the community. So that's fantastic. I love to see that you and your staff have provided ways for the students to get the service hours, but I also find it interesting, and it'll be interesting to hear at the end of the school year, the things that the students came up with.
Absolutely.
I think because that's they both go hand in hand. So I was just going to say, I heard that a number of the students went over to work in the garden, so I heard that. And so again, what a great opportunity for them there. So I think it's exciting. I think it's, and to have also opportunities during the day, as you did at the walkathon. So very curious to hear how this goes towards at the end of the year.
So, and just because I am an animal lover, we do have, if the parent accompanies the child and they want to go to a humane society, I'm more of a dog person myself, but if they want to go to a cat shelter, they could too. But we tend not to put that on our website just because of the liability that's part of that. We would need to make sure that a parent is with the student with that. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
John, wait, I'm sorry, John.
Yes. Yes.
First of all, also, I want to say thanks. I love this program. One of the questions I've gotten from some parents is if there's a way for them to see where their student is at before we get to the tail end of the year. Is there any way that they can kind of say, okay, how many hours has my kid put in at this point? And
Oh, certainly. If we can either, they can keep a sheet at home and keep one at school. I'm totally fine with that. We're really kind of going on the honor system with quite a bit of this. I'm not going to be hiring any private investigators. The whole idea is to just get kids starting to go through the process of serving. So if they would like to keep one sheet at home, I'll give them 2 sheets. I think I try to be conservative as far as paper is concerned, but if that is something that's going to help with the communication, and they can just jot that in, one at home and one at school, and then just put the 2 together. That's fine. The reason that we want them to have something at school is so that STAR teacher, the resource teacher, or their social studies teacher can be working with them and having that conversation like, okay, so far you've got 3 hours and it is February 1st. What are you going to be doing? And so that's part of the conversation piece, but absolutely, that'd be fine. As a matter of fact, someone reached out for me from Manning School and said, hey, I forgot to sign people's sheets. What could I do? She sent me the list of the names of the students that volunteered. We just attached that to their sheet. So we can fill in, that's no problem.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
A couple items. First of all, many of the board members attended the fall dinner, DuPage area fall dinner for the School Board Association. But just to highlight a couple of things, the keynote was Mike Jacoby, who is the president of the Illinois Association of School Business Officials, and he shared his insights about school funding in the state of Illinois. And quite honestly, they were not very optimistic, and the board and hopefully our community is aware that currently there's legislation pending about a 2-year property tax freeze. His opinion on that is that the odds of it only being 2 years is very slim because of some of the possible fallout from that, and in some cases the catch-up that could occur in some areas that are not tax capped. So he said more realistically, you would not see that go away. And then on top of that, with the possible cost shift with retirement and some other things that are, and what we're seeing with CPIs, it really wasn't a very optimistic view of funding for schools for the state of Illinois. At the same time, though, he did share a proposal that has been made by the Illinois Association of School Business Officials and Illinois Association of School Administrators. Because any proposal out there now, you hear about school funding, creates a scenario where there are winners and losers. And depending upon which scenario it is, in some cases there are more losers than winners. But it's basically taking the same dollars and redistributing those. And that creates that scenario where you're taking some dollars from some districts to give to other districts. What's being proposed by IASBO and the IASA is rather a way to reach that goal of more equitable state funding, but at the same time not creating a scenario where you have losers. And so those districts who maybe are considered quote unquote the wealthier districts, they don't lose state funding, but they make sure that the funding that they are receiving is equitable to other areas. And some other areas would receive additional funding, but again, that would be new dollars into education, which, again, the state has been able to do that over the years. They have been able to put some additional dollars in, but it's, again, how you distribute those funds. One of the things as well that I want to point out is that in addition to the evidence-based funding model that they proposed, and this is attachment to the board book, so community members can view this as well, but it gives, again, a quick outline of what is being proposed. But then one of the things that they want to see happen is that funding goes to research-based programs. And he shared a list of those interventions, those programs, which can have a significant impact on student learning. And one of the things that I can share with the board, that I'm proud to share with the board, is the number of those programs that we currently have in place in our district that have a significant impact on the learning environment. The full-day kindergarten, our class sizes, the fact that we are using instructional coaches to provide staff development, our ELL program, our academic focus summer school, our embedded technology. These are just some of them, but when you go down that list, these are all things that the board has implemented, the board has supported, and that we're currently doing in our district that have a significant impact on the learning environment. And so, again, it was not very optimistic, but there are proposals out there that do have less of an impact on school districts, and hopefully our legislators will take a serious look at that. And then the only other thing that I have along the lines of the service learning that John shared, the Village of Westmont, again, is partnering this year with the Stuff a Truck. And that's a way to get food items for the pantry at the People's Resource Center. The People's Resource Center does help families that live in the community and also families that attend our schools. And so all of our schools are participating, and our goal is to have a donation of at least one food item per staff member or per student in our district. And we are wrapping our collection up on this Friday so that we have time to get that to the People's Resource Center. The village is wrapping it up on October 24th. And their goal, I think, is 40,000 pounds of food items. And we did it last year. We're happy to participate again this year. And again, I think it's just another way for our school district to partner with our community and give back to our community.
If community members wanted to donate, well, are there collections at each of the schools?
You just donate to Westmont.
Just Westmont Junior High, so that's
It is a competition.
kind of, there is a competition? Nice. All right, thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
any of our buildings will accept donations. Any of the schools
Oh, I
will
like
accept
that. I like
donations.
that. Okay, great. What time do you open them up? Okay, did you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Well, I just wanted to add to the dinner that we went to. I think there were many people that went to this dinner thinking that we'd find out some magical places for some student funding, and of course, that's not what happened. And but it was a very good presentation, and I know a number of us went, and it was great. And the things that Kevin mentioned. Sometimes, it's an opportunity sometimes for us to talk to other board members from other districts, and you hear these conversations about where they're starting to look at one-to-one technology, and they're starting to look at they're talking about how they're going to provide all-day kindergarten and things like that. And I just have to say, it's a really nice place to be one of the districts who are in front of this. And this was before the meeting, so then at the end of the meeting, when you hear about these pieces that they talk about that will have definite effect. He talked about the data and the high-quality, long-term benefits. I mean, I actually wrote those words down. These are the things that they've come up with, and as Kevin said, that we do these things. And so I will just have to say thank you to the administration and the staff for bringing those things to us to talk about, and for us to keep pushing forward to make sure that District 201 stays the leader that we are. So it's kind of nice to go to one of these meetings and to hear, not that we don't know it already, but to know statewide that we're kind of ahead of the game from everybody else. So thank you for that, for bringing that up. So, okay. Are there any board reports? Oh, you know what? Did you want to talk about that in case anyone didn't hear about
Oh, yeah, just, we sent this out last week, but again, in an effort to improve the safety and security of our buildings, we have officially launched our library guard. We've been piloting it for the last couple of weeks. But going forward, we're asking visitors to our schools to make sure that they have a driver's license or state ID, and that will be scanned, and then that's compared to a database, and those people who are included in that database, we would not allow, obviously, to enter our buildings. But it's just one more step that we can take to make sure that we ensure that we maintain the safety and security of our buildings.
Great. And I wanted to make one quick comment, very brief, under board reports, that we are certainly aware that there are facility discussions going on in District 86. But for now, it's just a discussion that does not directly involve us at all. We will, of course, follow the story as it unfolds. For now, we are solely focused on our facilities and making them better for our District 201 students. I just wanted to make that comment here, so. Are there any other board reports to talk about? All right. Are there any public comments? Okay, then the upcoming events, there will be Jazz Cafe and Student Art Exhibit on October 14th, because it's tomorrow, at 6:30 at Westmont High School. And the next school board meeting will be here October 27th at 7 o'clock, Westmont Village Hall. Oh, I suppose we should mention that the homecoming game was spectacular, and high school won. And there was a fantastic fireworks display after the game, so it was a wonderful evening, so. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining, personnel issues, student discipline, security issues, and probable litigation.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Ambrose?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes. And there will not be a motion after close. Thank you.